ఓకే, చేశాను.
ఓకే. హలో, లేదన్నయ్య. Hey everyone, very good morning. So if your friends are about to join in, so give them a call, let them join in. We're gonna soon start the session. Okay, yeah. So as usual, we have this kind of thing, like we always start with some sort of fun game and then we move ahead. The whole intention of the game is to have fun as well, and also to wait for the other people to join in. Okay, so okay, fine. Okay, let me start the game. Okay, I can see like 22 people over here, and I want to see quick check. Like, are you guys can able to listen? Can you hear me? Am I audible to you all? Yes, perfect, perfect. Okay, okay, that's all fine. That's all fine. Okay, so I'm starting the game. Be ready with your answers. Okay, it's gonna be fun. Yes. So, okay, the first question. You gotta guess the phone brand. Okay, what was the phone brand? You gotta put it in your phone. Oh, okay. The answer should be in the chat box. Okay, iPhone. So the first one was Mohan. Yeah, it's perfect. It is an iPhone. But it's not OnePlus. How it could be a OnePlus one? No, 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 it's not OnePlus. It's iPhone. You can see the eyes on the phone. It's all fine. Okay, let me move to the next question. Okay, let's see. It's gonna be a little tough. Think about it. Think about it. Hmm. What can you see once in a minute and twice in a moment and never in 1,000 years? What was that? What was that? Okay, Anjali was first, and yeah, M is the answer. Yeah, you cannot see, like, you only see M only once in a minute and twice in a moment and never in 1,000. Yeah, perfect. Cool. Okay, so yeah, 26 now. Fine. Let me go for the next question. Okay. I hope you could answer it. Guess the phone brand. Redmi? No? No, no, no. Oh man. Okay, any more answers? Motorola? Any more? Yeah, perfect. That's actually the answer is carbon. Yeah, it's K. Yeah, who is the one? You know who I am. I don't know who you are, but you are the winner. Okay, you know who was that? Let me know who know who I am. You know who I am. I don't know, but you are the carbon. Yeah, carbon. K is the one. Yeah. So let me move for the next question. Okay, it's gonna be tough. I'm pretty sure. Hmm? Am I giving easiest answer, or are you being so intellectual? I think those are really simple answers, I guess. Yeah. Yeah. The answer is four. So, yeah, maybe you can ask me, like, what was the sound? I'm sorry. Okay, that's not eight. The answer is four. That's not nine. No, no, no. The answer is four. Who said that first? And it's Aisha. Okay, so it's all the edges you take care, like how many edges it has. So it's like it has 9 edges, it has 1 edge, it has 4 edges. Yeah. Okay. No, not eight, Akash. So one more question we have. Okay. It's going to be really, really simple. Oh man. These are all the very simple questions I thought I'm giving you all. Okay. Yeah. Eyeball. Perfect. Okay. This is eyeball. Yeah, fine. And we have one more thing. Maybe that was the last one. That will be the last one, I guess. Yeah. This one. See the tip? It's not 4. Okay. Keep your eyes on it. I think it's a tough one. I want this. What was that? Third one? What's the third one? Nothing. 5, 6. You might say 7, 8. Like, go on. 6, 4. 0? Seriously? Okay, I'm gonna reveal the answer. It's 5. Yeah, it's 5. It's 5. No. The gap between 2 and 3 is to no. No, don't be so logical here. It's 5 because what is the number after 234? It's 235. Right, that's it. 234, 235. Who said that fast? I think Aisha again. Yeah. Oh. Yeah, man, it's very simple. Like 234 and the next number is 235. And it's not 4. Okay, we have one more question. That will be the last one, and then we'll be hopping over to the slides and then getting back to it. Okay. Yeah, this one. Cell phone brand. It's gonna be really tough, in my view, at least. Let me see the first name. Okay. Oh my god, it's very simple. Yeah, it's BlackBerry. Okay, it's BlackBerry. Yeah, calm down. Yeah, not hard. Okay, it is. Perfect. Yeah, we are done with the game. If you want these slides, I can send you back. Okay, surely. Do you roll it? Let me know. Do you really love this? Or it's so lame? Oh, cool, man. Send this. Okay. Yeah, sure. I'll be sending it to you. Okay. Perfect. Okay. So Akash will be letting you know what is the purpose of the session and what is all about and why we are making this developer 101 in this free time, in this like chilling time. So what is the whole intention why we really need to make the developer 101, and those are all. And all about that, like what was the things like developer 101 and then the intention of the things. And we have Saif Ali Shaik. He's our super senior. I mean, when I say it, he's a super senior for me, and he's working for Freshworks as developer evangelist, and he'll be helping us in the entire session with us. And also Saurav Jaiswal, he's working for Cognizant, and he's in his final year, and he's with his final year project as well. So he'll be surely helping all of us. And welcome them, and let's get into the session. Okay, over to you, Akash. Okay, Shayef, can you unmute Akash?
So hey guys, hello, can you hear me?
Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah, cool. So how are you all? Fine. Oh, nice. Cool. So I think
you can share your screen, Akash, and then jump in.
Yeah,
okay?
sure. One sec. So can you see my screen now? Guys, can you able to see my screen?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes. So yeah, everybody is ready. Right. Okay, fine. So so this is Developer 101. Actually, we had came up with this initiative just because many people are struggling to find something to develop. Like they have no idea what to develop and how to develop something. So this session will be a platform which will help you a lot, help you most in developing something. So yeah, the first question when you came up, when you registered for this event, you must be having this question, right? So what is developer 101? As I said, uh, this is an initiative by DSC SIST to help every students to you know gain some gain some knowledge and to develop something on their own. Last time, I think, like when we are doing the PT, like project submission, mini project, I was able to see a lot of students, like, going outside and buying something, buying the projects, like, like that is really, the worst thing that you can, like, that someone can do in their, you know, as a student. So when we came up, like when we saw this, we were just wondering, okay, how we can help them. We have knowledge, we have something. Why don't we share our knowledge to others? Like when people are doing this, the only reason why they are going for buying a project is because they are lacking something, right? Uh, One thing, like the things they are lacking is knowledge, time, and a support from somebody. Like literally a support is needed for everyone. Without support, like nobody can do something, right? So uh, so when we came across these things, we thought of doing this initiative. We thought of starting this initiative to help students so that they can do something on their own without anybody to help and without anybody like going somewhere to buy their projects or doing something. And this could be also very much be useful for your future and future career and a lot of things. So yeah, so this is all about developer 101. And I think uh, I can share this to Saif. Now he will be explaining more about saying his experience of like during his
Okay,
final project
so
submission.
yeah, over to Shaif now.
Yeah.
So Shaif has his own way of being on it for the final year project and all about that. So yeah, Shaif, please go ahead and over to you.
Hi there. Can you guys hear me? Yeah, I
Yes.
got a chat message. Oh, thank you, Sagar, for responding. Thank you, Neeraj, like always from the start. Uh, anyways, I came up with a strange title, which I call it as Handling Unprecedented Times with Engineering Students or for Engineering Students 101. This might be a little bit strange because you might not know the meaning of what exactly that is going to be. But that is why I'm here. Uh, that is why I wanted to share few thoughts regarding how you can think forward. Yeah. So basically, unprecedented is basically a meaning which an event that has never happened before. So if you are going to give a presentation when you have never done previously in your life before, you can call you have done something unprecedented before. So you do not have an example before to follow. Today, unprecedented times means basically the situation that we have with us today, the situation that we are facing today with respect to COVID-19, with respect to coronavirus, or the media that is showing you, and the how world is stopped. So this is all unprecedented times. So basically, this kind of situation never happened before with respect to our parents, never happened before with respect to our grandparents, and never ever before in our lives. And so things are going to be changed since you are in college, and the way you look at things, all of this stuff, you might not have experienced before. So here are few things, the thoughts that I wanted to share, and along with me there will be Saurav, who will be joining in the middle of presentation. So expect him whenever he joins. Okay, so before I go deep into this, I saw all the thoughts that you guys shared during the registration. So one of them shared about how they can choose projects, and what are the resources that they can pick up. And someone else asked about how can I go and what happens within the companies, and how can I kickstart building a project, something like that. And someone else wanted a simple straightforward guidance upon how I can go ahead with the project, and some procedure about placement. And I hope whenever you say placement, you are basically talking about a job. And there is always another guy who asks about a clear plan, how you can take, or what are the list that you can directly give me, or what is the reference points that you can directly give me. And maybe these are a couple of thoughts that I have got from the form, and I tried to create this entire content to fit those expectations. So moving ahead, I basically want to talk about three things, to be important, to be precise. So in this webinar, I'll start by talking about job. I'll give a glance about how you can talk about projects, or get started about projects, or what kind of ideas that you need to pick up. And the third part is about the skills. So if you look at it, all of them are dependent upon each other. So if you need a job, you have to impress the employer, talking about what kind of work that you have done before. As a student, when you try to share your work, you try to share in terms of projects. So these are the projects that I have done. This is the tech stack that I have used, and this is how I have built the project. Is something that you are going to share with the employer, so that you can request, or you can expect a job from the employer. And the third part is, even though if you have to go till the project level, you need to have enough skills. So how do you plan to build those skills is a third aspect of this presentation. So if you look at today's situation, uh, these are not nice numbers which are going through. If you look at the dates, it's from March 19th till April 8th, which is basically yesterday. Things are getting worse. So you might not understand that this may or may not impact you, but definitely you should realize that this is going to impact you and your job and your careers as well. So it's not only people who are in the job market, or people who are actually within the organization. It is not just the businesses who are getting hit. It is actually the entire ecosystem that the world currently is going through. So uh, at the same time, uh, the best thing to do at this time is, first thing is not to worry. So just like every single time when you are in a class and you come late to the class, and if there is someone else who is along, or who comes to the class late than you, you both are going to face the same punishment, and you obviously feel, there is another guy who is also facing punishment like me, and you won't feel much bad. So I know that is a very bad example to give, but that is the best example that I can give you to make feel better, or not to be too much of worried about this particular situation. I probably know this is the entire outside context of this particular webinar, but this is something that you need to keep in your head before you try or expect some jobs from the university or the companies. And the second thing is, again, as I have reiterated before, is the project that I wanted to talk about. And the third thing is basically how you can invest upon your skills. So when entire world or entire universities across India are going through this time, 90% of these students are always not making use of this time better. It means that basically if you are among those 10%, and if you are able to spend time just better than other 90%, you could be way ahead when things fall in place or things fall in line. So uh, let's talk about project. So in each and every project, uh, the actual thing that matters to the employers is basically the work that you have presented in within your project. So whenever I say project here, or whenever you call it as a final year project, your project should basically have three things. So one of them is the problem or the industry that you are focusing upon. For example, you can talk about a delivery problem and the industry can be food. Or you can talk about the same delivery problem, the industry can be medicine. In the same way, if you are talking about something else, there should be an industry that is associated with it. So when you are planning for a final year project, think about what is the problem that I am going to solve and which is the industry that I am focusing upon. So that is the first point that you need to consider. Second point is how you can implement this idea. So once you have discussed the problem, and this is the problem, this is the delivery problem that I want to solve. I want to come up with an app where in rural areas there is no delivery service. I have an app that can help these people who are in rural areas to solve their problem. So the industry would be the rural areas, and the problem would be the delivery problem that you are going to solve. When it comes to implementation, who are you going to focus upon? So in a rural area, most of them would be using mobile phone, and there will be very less adoption of a maybe laptop or Windows software, or some kind of software that you are expecting them to install. So basically what you can expect is people in rural areas will only have mobile phone. And for you to solve this problem, you can think of it in two ways. So one, either you can give them uh, a mobile application for them to build and come up with an app that solves this delivery problem. Either way, you can build a website, because every mobile phone or smartphone today has uh, browser. So they can basically given some website name, and if you're going to create a website will be there, and the user can actively start engaging with it. And the third part is solution and pitch. So this part I have bought in importantly, because within my experience, or whenever I speak to people who come out of this third year or the fourth year candidates, there's so much emphasis upon one particular technical superpower of their application. For example, they talk about machine learning, and they talk about one particular algorithm, and they try to explain that algorithm. And they'll say my project is best because it has very complex part in my project that is going to solve. So, and they try to pitch the same way to whoever judge panel there is there, or whenever you have project reviews, they start to talk about the same thing. I have a project and I'm using artificial intelligence. There is a chatbot. It goes through this superficial algorithm, and I want you to grade me. So hopefully, I want you guys to understand that that is not how projects work. Projects work. One of the main thumb rule that I can give you is, if you're building up a project, how many people are you going to impact, and how many of them are going to have a very clean experience with respect to your project. So that is the one of the important points that you need to consider. So, if I talk about industry problem, uh, so what are the industries that I'm trying to focus upon? So here are the couple of lists that I have given on the left side, from agriculture to robotics to energy, renewable energy, smart vehicles, uh, software, travel and tourism, finance, food, smart textile. There are so many categories, but what happens most of the times is, uh, people or final year students tend to overlook this, or third year students tend to overlook this because the only thing they find interesting is some kind of a sophisticated technique, or sophisticated algorithm, or sophisticated technology. These are the things that you basically focus upon. But what I wanted to share with you guys is basically think from an higher or a big picture, or a eagle point of view, where does my project actually fall in terms of these things. And I have also created a couple of project ideas. So I just want to confirm if you guys can see this list or not. Can someone ping me in the chat that are you able to see the list? Okay, thank you. Thank you, Alok. So all of this list here is something that I will ask Teja to share with you guys after this session. This list essentially has almost more than 50, 60, 70 project ideas, which are actually worth taking up as a final year project. But the point here is, I want you guys to try it for yourself. Now you have this situation going on, and you have, I am pretty much sure that you will at least not have your college reopened for at least 1 month, for next 1 month. It means that you're going to have plenty of time, and you might want to stay within the 10% of students who are using their time effectively, rather than remaining those 90% who are using their time ineffectively. So it has all the aspects. It can be a cloud-based career guidance system and hotel management Android project, question paper generator system. So these are all high-level hints or titles. So how you will implement is completely up to you, is completely on your mark. Now, getting back, those are the ideas that I would want to share with you guys. And when it comes to tech stack, and which is the second thing that I wanted to share with respect to the projects, when first thing is the problem or industry, and the second thing is basically the tech stack. Uh, when I talk about the tech stack, a lot of students are not aware of complete tech stack. That is absolutely fine, because you are not a full stack developer yet, or you are not 5-6 year experienced yet. But realizing that you are aware of your strengths and weaknesses, it is very important that you can devise or think about a tech stack. If I found a problem, I have picked one from that list. Now, how do I implement this? Or how can I go ahead with this problem? I know I wanted to get started with ML, or I know I am passionate about AI. I am passionate about Python, and I'm passionate about Android apps, a lot of things. But when you look at from industry point of view, and when you pick up a project, should be able to define or come up with a clear way of saying this is how I will try building my project. So I broadly divided your project into two categories. Would be one would be mobile based and one would be web based. So this may overlap. Maybe someone can come up with a project and saying that uh, I will also have mobile and some part of it will be with web as well. So there can be an overlap, but on a broader level, this is how you should think of your tech stack. If you are getting started with mobile, I would recommend you to get started with Android Studio and Firebase. Uh, Mainly because Firebase, for the people who don't know what is Firebase, Firebase is basically a database, a cloud-based database where you can store your apps data not only locally on your device but also in the cloud. Uh, so this is the basic tool that you have to use. Just like if you want to write a simple C program, you have, I don't know how you guys write, but in my time when I was in first year, they had this blue color screen and you have to give stdio.h or ponyo.h and you write an app and you write a program, then alt something, the program begins to run. So that is how basically it used to be there. But now when you want to write a app or a code, you have more sophisticated tools. And one of them, when you want to write Android apps, is the Android Studio. So probably I would want you to go and check out that. So anyway, people who have other part of or sub part of these questions, try to add that in Q&A part in your webinar. So maybe you might have seen a Q&A kind of a thing in your Zoom blog, in your Zoom app somewhere. You can try adding it there. But anyway, I will try to check in both in the webinar chat and as well as in the Zoom chat. I mean Q&A to go ahead with it. So coming back to the topic, that is first base if you want to think about mobile apps. Second one is Java when you want to write the programming logic, XML so that you can put in layouts in there, and third one if you want to optimize it for an better experience, you can go ahead asking for ML and AI. So at this point of time, I think you will have another frameworks, other APIs involved. I could probably say Flutter, as someone have pointed out in the chat, or there are so many other frameworks that you can use, which I basically laid out here, just calling them an APIs. So these things fall into the third layer. So in this third layer, you would try to find out the frameworks or the tools that they can simplify or help you build your application faster. And the last part of it is the idea. So in the ideation phase is basically nothing but you look at the all three phases which are below, and you have this industry that you have identified, you have this problem statement that you have identified. Now you will come up, you try to come up with an architecture or a way how I can use these tools, how I can write my code, or how I can use technologies like Flutter and others, how I can go through code labs, how I can go to sample codes, how I can use GitHub and all of that stuff to start building your project. And the second part is simple, the same way that I will quickly skim through is web. When it comes to web, there is a lot of argument all around, but when it comes to your final year project, none of it matters, because even one guy comes up with saying that I have my application holding on AWS, other guy comes and says Google Cloud platform is better, and other guy comes and said Azure is better. None of this matters when it comes to the problem that you're solving. So no one is going to ask you saying that give me why you are using AWS over Google Cloud, because the range of your applications or the complexity of your applications will not make much difference for whichever platform that you use. If your complexity of your application goes higher and higher, and if you have, for example, say 50,000 users for your application, then it matters in terms of pricing, other features on each of these hosting providers. These are not just hosting providers, they are basically giving you complete infrastructure to host your application. And the second layer of this is, again, there is a very huge community which call themselves as React developers, Node developers, Angular developers, and all of this. But I will try to put this very short and very much clear that on the front end frameworks, there would be React, Angular. If you want to use another framework which is a little bit more which is little bit less sophisticated, I would like to recommend you Bootstrap, which is a bit easy. Again, if you are thinking to optimize your application for ML or AI, this is the phase where your ML or AI logic or your whatever models that you call, or the data analysis and part will go upon, and that can also come through your AWS, GCP, or any provider that you choose. And JavaScript is very generic, but it's a very vast thing. With JavaScript, you can build mobile apps, web apps, on an Android, on iOS using Ionic frameworks, uh, and Angular, React, Node. All of these are basically derived from JavaScript. So I just wanted to club all of this down and keep it short, so it goes into JavaScript. And when it comes to APIs, most of people who are actively learning about something or doing some courses, they might have heard this term called REST APIs or SOAP APIs or GraphQL or gRPC, things like this. So these are kind of APIs that all other website or other vendors or other websites offer you, so that you can use them in your application. For example, how many of you know Fasu's food provider? Does anyone of you know? I generally order my food on Fasu's or something like that. So basically, for example, Domino's is something you know, and Domino's has their own app, and Domino's will preserve their own orders. And for example, if you're using Swiggy or Zomato, you can place order on Swiggy or Zomato, I think Zomato, and still the order will be placed at Domino's end, and the SMS that is sent to you is from Domino's but not Zomato. And it means that there are two different companies here. One is Domino's, other is Zomato, and these both are interacting with each other. And this interaction is possible because of REST APIs. So this is what I can share with you on a high level. And when it comes to the next part, I would kindly say it again falls under what idea that you have picked up. So I'll quickly give a 10-second gap, and I will go through Q&A, because I see there are few questions which are in here. Uh, mm, so looking at the questions, mm, what are the caveats of building a project for developers? So I would like to hold this question until the end of the session. I am like expecting questions from there is things which are pending, or there is something that I haven't clarified enough. I have seen all the 4 questions, but I think I can hold them until last session. I'll try to continue with the session that I have, because none of them are related to the content that we have spoke until now. So I would like to invite Saurav here, probably if he is in.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here.
Could you please introduce yourself and go
Yeah.
through the slides?
All right. So, okay, can you share this? Like, can you allow me to share the screen? That would be better because I have few projects to show.
Done, Saurav.
All right. 1 second. Yeah, you can see my screen, right? Hello. Hello.
Yes, we can.
All right. Thank you. Yeah, so hi guys, I am Saurav Jaiswal. I'm currently a final year student and I'm also interning with Cognizant as a software engineer. So like for from the past 4 years, I've been into project development, coding and competitions. So like I have represented our college in different competitions all across India and like internationally as well. So so this is a bit introduction about me. So okay, so the whole developer 101 was about 5 year project, and as I can see, lot of questions about like is the project, can we do it individually or as a group, like all stuff was related to your final year stuff, project itself. So like okay, so let's get started with how actually it works in our college. What is final year project is, why is it so boom in between us? So like it's in short, it is actually a peaceful semester. You don't have to worry about what how we have to do things. And when like excuse me just a second. Yeah, I'm sorry, so like someone was here. Okay, so yeah, so yeah, basically it is just a peaceful semester. You do not have to worry like what project should I do, what teachers are expecting from us, and should I actually go and buy project from somewhere else and show it to a project, or should I actually make it, or should I do I have to actually do everything? So like in short, I would not suggest you to buy a project, because buying a project would never help you. Almost like in previous year and in our all years also, like almost more like people do buy projects, but uh, that is not recommendable, because teacher gets to know that you actually bought a project or you have done it from sir. So like okay, so basically starting from how it actually works in our college. So basically you have, first of all, we have a guide selection process where we select a guide that is a teacher or the staff. So we have a portal where we choose our staff according to our preference, and then we have to meet them, and then like we'll have to pitch our idea that what exactly we are building and what problem are we trying to solve. So so there are two types. There are majorly two ways where you can try to solve a problem. Is that you can actually pick up a problem, or you can pick up an industry related problem. What do I mean by industry related problem? Let's say a simple problem where you are actually trying to solve a bank related problem, where bank is becomes an industry. Let's say you're trying to encrypt something, or like specifically, if I'm talking about my project for this final year semester, where I'm trying to build an application on a blockchain service technology, where I am actually encrypting the whole signature of a person, and creating a digital certificate for that particular account, or the account holder. So this is what my simple project idea for this final year is. And okay, so this is how it works. Like first we'll have the first review, where we'll do the idea pitching with our uh, presentation and all the things. We have to review panel also. they basically ask you a lot of questions about your project, why you are doing this, how you are doing this, how you will build the project, and what problem you are solving. And like there is a lot of like questions and answers from both the ends. And if they like your project idea, you can go ahead. If not, you'll have to again reshuffle and rechange your whole idea, or you have to bring it a new idea. Then like things will go on further. Then the second review comes in, where you'll have to give the half of the demo, or you can give the full demo as per your project is done or not. So basically there is a time gap between your first review and the second review, which is about 3 to 4 weeks, I guess. Yeah. So from by that time you'll have to prepare your whole project or whatever so far you will be doing by that time. And then there comes the final review, where you'll have to showcase your complete demo of the application, whatever you have built or the problem you have solved. Then follow along the regular process of submitting your hard copy and documentations, and then we will have something called Viva. And in the bracket you can see where I have specifically mentioned the SRS document. So do we have any third year or third year students here? Like how many third years are there? Can you give me on chat? Okay, fine. So like third years must have studied about SDLC process, right? Software development life cycle in your classes semester. So there you have to prepare a SRS document. If you would have studied properly, SRS document is software requirement specification, where you basically why it is important. It is important because the external will ask you for the SRS document. In SR, what is written in SRS document is the whole overview of what you are actually doing in your project. It is similar to abstract, but it is not actually an abstract. So okay, so in the SRS document you will actually write what problem you're solving, how you are solving the problem, what uniqueness you are implementing in your project, and what are the steps or challenges you have faced, what technologies you have used in your projects. So far these are the stuff you will be doing with your in your final year project. And it is actually a peaceful semester, guys. You do not have to worry about how we will be handling this stuff. So okay, so next come how we'll be building a project idea. So do you guys have any questions? There's no professor tantrums I can see on the Q&A. Like professor actually does not, they are really helpful. The best thing about final year project is you have to choose your own guide. So like choose a guide with whom you are very clear with, or you are like you are okay to work with. Then that in that way you don't have to deal with the professor tantrums in a way. And also final year project is actually a group project. Indeed it is actually a two people project, not exactly a group. So so far okay, fine. So let's get started with project 101. So get an idea about a project. So what is get an idea about a project? Like think of some problem where you see around yourself, like uh, coronavirus, right? There are a lot of data available here on the government is giving data. So why can't you use that data and build up a website where you can show like the regular list of the states which is having different numbers of cases, or like it is a simple problem. You can show it on a website, and which can help a lot of people to track, just like how covid19.india.org has done, where we people actually go and look into into that website and see how data is like it is actually solving a problem, right? So okay, so I'll show you few projects. So let's start with a simple to-do list project. This is a simple to-do list project which is exactly built upon HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. There's nothing very interesting about it. Why I'm showing it to you? Because there might be a people from first year or second year who are actually new into project development and how to build up a project. So you can this is specifically for them, so you guys can actually start building upon small problems. You can write a simple quick short and bubble short and make up a website and compare both that sorting algorithms. That can be a simple project, and actually these projects are really helpful when you put up on your resume. And specifically why it is helpful, because as a student or as a fresher, you don't actually have a lot of internships on your hand or experience in your hand, so you can put up on your resume and showcase to the recruiter, right? So this is one of the way where you can showcase your talent or your technical skills to your recruiter by building up different interesting projects, not the same project. Like to-do list is you know very common. People actually, every developers do that, right? So it is you know it is it does not make a difference. But how can you attract a recruiter with a to-do list would be a challenging question. So like, does anyone have any idea, like how can you if I give you a challenge, like attract me with building up a to-do list, what exactly you will do? Can you guys uh, you know tell me on chat? I'll be waiting for the response.
Okay, if you feel it's so long, then you can unmute yourself and then just go ahead.
Come on guys, it's not very challenging. Okay, you can add a functionality to that to-do list. Said by Neeraj Jairam. Okay, fine. Okay, I'll go ahead with this. We can tell how the to-do list has a better UI and other friendly features. Arman, cool. Yeah, that's what like mostly you guys will think, right? Like normally people will think that we can uh, indeed we can make a UI very very interesting and make the to-do list look very user friendly. But like what else we can do with the functionality? Let's say you are sitting with in an interview with Google and you have project mentioned as to-do list, and like Google sees a lot of to-do list projects, right? Like if there are 10 people who have mentioned to-do list in their resume, then like how you should, like how your project should be differentiated from other rest 9 people is like that's what matters in an interview. Like that's what matters, right? Like how you are unique, how your skills are unique. That is why they will select you, right? Because why not? It's Google, right? They have plenty of options. So what else you can do is, like apart from making a UI better, is like you can add up a functionality which would like help to to solve a problem. Let's say let's say in this particular to-do list, what I have done is, let's say I have added a few items. I can, I haven't used any database here. It's just a simple HTML and CSS. What I have used here as a feature is that I have created a cache memory within a browser. So whenever I refresh the page, the data doesn't get lost. Okay, that's a bug. Yeah. See, the data doesn't get lost. The data is there. So like this is one of the functionality which I wanted to show. Like it's not a very big thing, but you can add it to showcase it to your like different people, right? In your resume, or to your project staff, without like it would be interesting to them, to first year people, without using a database you are still storing the whole files. Another interesting application could be, building a simple React site. If you are like, if you are a very beginner, like in your second year or first year, or even if you haven't started really developing projects, you can actually get started with building websites or mobile applications, simple mobile applications. React is booming right now. Like you can develop a simple React website. uh, Else you can develop your simple portfolio over online. That is also a good kickstart project. uh, so there, here we have simple GitHub repository which has, which is called a hackathon starter. You can start it, and you will find plenty of good projects here. So there's a project with simple sign in, sign up, and he is using some like forms to, like, he has developed simple project. There's another project where you can, list all the APIs and how you can click a particular button and connect to different API and log into it. API is actually really interesting to work with. What how you can like uh, how you can work with an API is really interesting. So I wanted to show you a website. So this was developed while I was in a boot camp in last internship. So I'll show you this website. It is using a recipe API, where whenever you add any food to it, it will calculate. It's, if you can see, this is a simple, yeah, it will calculate the calories and everything. It will show it to you, like where you can use it, what else you can do with this. So this is a CSS HTML. There's no React used onto it. There's no database. There's no calculation of anything. It is actually hitting up a API and receiving a data from that, and it is showing onto your website. This is a simple kickstart project, from where you can learn about how API works, how you can, uh, use that data in your website and build up a good UI with that, and you can show it to your project mentor, or add it in your resume or anything. But these projects are really simple. You shouldn't add it you shouldn't make it as your final year project, because this does not add any functionality or nothing. You're not solving up a problem actually. But but why I am showing you is a way, like how you can kickstart yourself to build up a different projects. So like, yeah, that's all from my side. Saf, over to you.
Thank you, Saurabh.
Thank you.
I think from Saurabh, you might have understood how you can get started with your project, how a project should look like, and you can compare them with the tech stack that we have talked before. You can get a complete idea about how it should look like. For example, the to-do app that Saurav has shown can be, for now when he was showing, it was in his local machine, but maybe he can use one of the cloud providers to make it work up in there. He has used some of the bootstrap, or he has used some simple HTML CSS to build the site. And other one, which he called as the food site. The food site had APIs, which used APIs to show all the items which are coming in. So this basically follows the same web stack. And similarly, when you have a different idea, you can also go through those things and build your own project. So hopefully all the links that we are showing in here, alongside the video of this presentation, and as well as the links that we have shared, and the presentation deck, we will share with all the attendees. I don't know how that works. Maybe Teja can add to it. So I'll be just moving on to the solution pitch. So solution pitch is where you'll need to have face problem with your project reviewers, or whoever is going to listen to your project, or whoever is going to judge your project. This is where 6 pointers or 5 pointers that I wanted to give you. So very sharply, very precisely, if they are giving you 15 minutes or 10 minutes, make sure that you don't have to use all 10 minutes or 15 minutes to speak. All you have to do is convey what you want to convey. And most of the times, this is how your flow should look like. So talk about your problem. So what is the problem that you're trying to solve? Or what is the problem that you have identified? And tell them some metric or some number saying that, for example, in my final year project, I made a project which can help people to book a parking space. So if you are in a house, if you have some parking space, you can put that parking space on rent, and someone who needs it can rent it from you. So the problem that you'll say is, this is basically, it helps some person to go ahead, and if he is not able to find a car parking space, he can actually easily book one from the app. And you have to tell them the number of people who will face this problem. For example, if I get started with a village or small kind of a village, it makes no sense to start talking about a small village, because village will never have cars, or there will be no problem with respect to this parking lots. So you should make your answer or data precise, saying that there are 5 metro cities across India. Among the 5 metro cities, traffic is growing day by day. There are about 50,000 people who visit one particular mall or shopping mall, and there are very high chances that almost 15,000 users every day, every single day, face problem with respect to parking, and my app can solve that problem. Then you have to come back and show your solution. See, this is how my app works. This is how you have to sign up. And once you sign up, this is what the dashboard looks like. And you can start speaking about the solution that you have. And the next part is, on a high level, explain the tech stack. So in the tech stack, the way we have talked about those triangles before, go into a little bit of those details, and tell everything on a very high level, and give a gap. Give the gap when the judge or the project reviewer or someone else who is listening to you can ask you questions at that point of time, and then you can try answering their questions with respect to whatever questions that they have. And the last part that I need you to focus upon is, tell that these many members at the end of the day are going to benefit from your solution. So this is how your pitch should look like, but not going ahead and explaining all the algorithm that you have, going ahead and explaining all the tech stack that you have, going ahead and explaining all the code that you have, all of this. So explaining all of this will make no sense to the reviewer. So we have talked about the job scenario. We have talked about the project scenario, and the last part that I would want to talk about is the skills. So, as I have told you earlier in this session, that all of these are interdependent. If you need a job or work, or if you need to develop capability to work, it means that you have to show some of your previous work. As a fresher, or as someone you are coming out of third or fourth year of college, there are very high chances, or no chances at all, that you have some work experience before. So you show your projects or mini projects that you have done before, to explain that these are my skills. When it comes to skills, uh, these are the things that you need to focus upon. And one is the basics that you have, or the foundation that you need to develop. Second are the depths that you have with respect to the tools that you use. When I say tools, tools is where this Android Studio, VS Code, Visual Studio, uh, things like this, Postman, kind of things come into picture. And the learning environment. So when you're trying to learn, what kind of environment that you are in. So do you have right kind of friends, or right kind of people who will influence you, or do you have all the things those are required, like laptop and everything, or are you in the distractionless environment where you don't get thousands of WhatsApp messages one by one? So all of this together will contribute to the skills that you are trying to develop, so that you can build a successful project that will again drive you to getting a good job or good work. So I'll just quickly run through what are the basic things that I have lined up for you. So if you can see my screen, there are probably just three links that I have shared. Probably with the simple Google search, I could have shared so many links or so many resources that I could have asked you to do. But probably I don't want to overwhelm you with lot of information and lot of resources. But these are the very simplest things that I would probably expect you to understand. So, coming here, the first link that I would want to go through is Mozilla Docs. So, people go way long taking courses, YouTube videos, tutorials, and all of that. People who don't know this thing are basically are wasting most of their time. It's because Mozilla was very first company who built their complete infrastructure around the web. So the content they have here is really top notch. So if you look about the web development basics here, they start with web and then they go into HTML. So they only have the important things that you need to really know. So interesting part comes from the JavaScript, dynamic side of client-side scripting, and how you can make it accessible for people who are blind, uh, all of that as well, and how you can start testing as well. What are the tools that you need to use? So, and what is server-side website programming, and little bit quick start to Python and Django. There are like tutorial parts. So there is an entire tutorial which will help you to understand the breadth of web development, if not the depth. So I would highly recommend you to get started with this one if your project is more aligned towards the web or something like that. And the second one is this one, which I call it as free code camp, and most of you might have known this. So this is basically a complete course upon almost everything when it comes to web development. So I'm not asking you to complete all 300 hours, which is in here. What I would request you to complete is just first one, the responsive web design certification, and then if possible the JavaScript algorithm and data structures. Hopefully, I would not ask you to go through JavaScript algorithms and data structures, because you are already dumped with a lot of questions from placement cell to solve a lot of coding level challenges in HackerRank and all of other tools. So this is the second part. And the third resource is obviously an Udacity course, which is actually free. So people who are trying to get started with mobile projects, I would recommend you to get started with free course. Probably you might not require a certification and all, but the knowledge here would be very much helpful to you. So getting back, I would like to talk about the tools as a developer or as a computer science engineer or any project that is going to be related with IT. Probably these are the things that you would have to know, at least the minimum of the minimum. When you go out in a job market, or if you are trying to sell yourself, saying that these are the skills that I have, these are the experiences that I have, please hire me. These are the tools uh, which are able to make a difference from you from the remaining set of people. One is GitHub and Git. So for most of them, GitHub is just making pull request and trying to make some change and all of that. But GitHub is a lot more than that. I would request you to go through all of things like workflows, GitHub workflows, and all of that. And GitHub and Git are two completely different tools. So Git is basically a version control system for your code. So I would not go delve into details of this, but I would leave it to you to go back home after this webinar or sometime else to go back and Google search and try to learn about those. And second one is Chrome developer tools or browser developer tools. So browser basically has a lot of developer tools. I will try to show them at a glance. So if you go here, you basically have a complete list of tools how you can debug your code in a website. So even though if you start with any kind of web development, these are the things can help you understand a lot of stuff. And also if there are very low secure websites, you can also hack into them. So you can also understand how things work in the back end of the websites, and you can also become a potential pen tester. And third one is Postman. Postman, as you think, is not the Postman that you are thinking about. This is basically an API development tool where you might have not developed an API before, but I would recommend you to go all of this and try to explore these tools by yourself. And VS Code, half of you might have already VS Code installed. VS Code is nothing but a code editor, but it has a very good thing that is in here so that you can add some extensions and go through it. And AWS, GCP, and Azure basics are something that I expect you to know. And the last part is this Wireframe. So Wireframe is when you have a small team. Let's say your project has 2 people in it, but you have to express that this is how my application should look like. Then Wireframe is basically a simple tool where you can add your buttons in here and images in here and get started with your ideology first. And then you can start talking about the implementation aspect. So UX designers or user experience designers or developer experience designers basically use this a lot. So whenever you hear of roles like product designers or designing in software industry, they use tools like Wireframe, some Adobe related tools to accomplish that. So that said, let me see if how many people have a quick interest of looking some of my code, so that I will open my VS Code and show a little bit of how these things play together.
Perfect. Yeah. So before we go into that and move ahead, so I think few of them are already having few questions within them. So you can raise your hand up, and we will be unmuting you, and you can go ahead with your question. Okay. So yeah, we can see the hands raising up. So Shaif, please go ahead.
Yeah, I will unmute Sandeep now. Sandeep.
Yes, Sandeep, you can unmute yourself now, and you can put your question in.
I have unmuted Bindu as well. I don't think they are about to talk.
Okay, I think they might be typing, but even though we can able to unmute you, there is an option to unmute yourself as well. So look into it and try to unmute yourself and raise your questions.
As soon as you raise your hand, we'll allow you to talk. Then you will have an option to unmute or mute yourself to talk with respect to any questions that you have. Okay, Teja, I will try to postpone to the next one. I mean, move ahead because we already have a Q&A slide at the end.
Sure, go ahead.
So the last part that I want to talk about is the environment that you have. When you want to learn something, or when you are working upon a project, or when you are building something, I would like to give you 3 tips. One is have a table, chair, you and laptop, nothing else, or a system, nothing else. And the second thing that I would want to talk about is a technique called flow time technique. And the third one is stay distraction free, which is self-explanatory. First one is also very simple. And the second aspect is where I want to focus upon. So as soon as you get started with your day, try to list down the tasks that you want to complete on that specific day, and have a start time noted and then stop time noted. Every time you are interrupted, it might be from friends, it might be from other work, it might be from parents, or all of that. Try to write all of those reasons in the fourth column, and you can actually subtract them from your start time and stop time, and you will get to know what is your work time today. And you can also allot some time for breaks every 25 or 30 minutes. And this is the very good strategy if you are working upon a project. The entire tech stack break down into a couple of tasks, and each task start working upon it and have a start time for it, and then stop, and then have what are the reasons that you have been interrupted. So if you look in a collaborative way, in a big picture, you having a table, chair, you laptop, plus you're following a strategy to keep yourself aligned with the project that you are building, and you are, as long as distraction free, then you are good to go. Then you are already making the best use of your time. And this is all I have to talk about the learning environment. So quickly running through all of this, if you go reverse order through all of these slides, this will actually make sense for you. If you start talking about learning environment, having a good learning environment, and then having the tools that you need and the basics that you have to get started or building the applications. And that covers all of the skills that you need. And you know how to talk about your project. You have seen how final year projects are. You know the tech stack of how your applications need to be built or reframed. And on top of it, you have the list of project ideas, which one you can pick up. And this will complete the entire project's dilemma that you have. And you know what is the best thing to do during these times. And you are not going to be the part 90% of the people who are going to face this. You can make yourself different by being in the last top 10% of the people who make best use of their time. And finally, all these three things are covered. So that's it, folks. I'm open for any Q&A. You can either raise your hands or post your questions in Zoom's Q&A.
Okay, feel free to raise your hands up and also put your questions in the box. In the meantime, Akash has few things scheduled up for you, so he'll be joining in, and also you can put your questions in. Go ahead, Akash, over to you.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, guys, I'll be continuing now. The things. The first thing is, as I said, what is developer 101's for? So I just go with the other things. So yeah, so this is a good code that I found from the internet before, like I think a few months back, which is actually good. You know, uh, they know enough to know how to learn. Yeah, it's true because you know things as a student, what we think is academics is just a level what we should know. No, it's not like that. There's a lot of things to explore. When you go and search, like in like other resources, you get a lot. I used to search when I like even I was a bio student when I came to this college. I had no idea. When I searched into Google, you know, I just went depth into it. I found a lot of resources, and that is where I started this whole thing. So if you search a lot, if you even discuss with your friends, if you go for meetups, if you go for like any webinars or whatever it is, to get to know about new things. Even now, even like inside session, I came to know about new things, new tools and new resources. So this is where you explore and that is where you learn. So next thing is let's start with how to build a project. So there are some process behind building a project, and yeah, it's not a simple process, but it's like if you understand it, if you do in a flow, they are really simple. So the first thing to like to build a project is you should have a right approach, and these are the things. So yeah, so this is what I did when like recently for few of my projects I was following these things, and yeah, these helped me a lot. So the first thing is discovery, and as it says, um, like you just need to discover some idea. So I'll be going through this in the next slide. So first thing is discovery. So you'll be discovering the ideas, you'll be searching, it will be getting some ideas and stuff. And the next thing is incubation. Incubation is where you just make a design of your idea, make a like make a design, make a prototype a type of your idea, and getting some resources, finding a right technology, and all these things. And the implementations where Implementation is where you develop something, develop what you have like made as a prototype, and getting the idea as real product. That's the last thing is where you deliver your project to showcase it to everyone, and that's where the pitching comes in. So I'll be going through this now. Okay, first thing is how to get an idea. So that is one of the most difficult thing that many people face. Even I used to face a lot when it comes to project development. So first thing, like when it can come to an idea, just think about some projects which is already exist. So like the projects which are already made is just an invention. When you add some features, when you make it even more better, when you optimize it, or even when you use the same project in some other use cases, that is where innovation comes, right? So uh, when you this is where you can get even more idea, like innovating things, innovating the projects which are already there will help you a lot to develop something. There are some things like computer vision, deep learning, like um, what else? Automating like things, software like any automation things, and even web development, and even a lot of things are there. And that is made for some use case. But when you like when you thought of making something automated, you can implement the same. That is where you are getting new things from. So this is how you can get an idea by yourself manually. So just don't think like when you think about an idea, don't have a limit. Okay, just think out of the box. Just think impossible things. uh, Technology is one part, that is different thing that you can decide it later. But when you think about some important impossible things, just imagine like I want to create a time machine. Not now, if not now, some time or some time or the other, somebody could make it, but you can't say it's impossible. So everything is possible when you think about it and try it out. That is how you make things happen, right? That is where the possible things happen. So think some impossible things. That is how you can get a new idea, and after that we can go with the technology itself and for implementation. So I hope you might have brought some like things out can get an idea, but still I show you another one where you can get some ideas we are facing in India. So these are some sites where you can go ahead and search. Smart India Hackathon, most of the people might be knowing it, and they have given a lot of problem statements which every companies and most of the organizations are uh, like okay, one second. Sorry guys, just a minute. Yeah. So most of the organizations are facing in their day-to-day life. That is where you can find even more like ideas, and you can find some solution as well for them. And the other thing is Startup India. Startup India is like similar to Smart India Hackathon, uh, like problem statements, but still this is real-time problems where like many organizations, big organizations are really facing, where you can come up with an idea and even you can go ahead, if you find some solution, you can go ahead and submit there, and to start even your startup. That would be even too much easier for yourself. And yeah, these are some sites where you can search them. And do you have any questions, or you can come with them? Are you finding any difficulties to find some idea? You can go ahead and ask me. You can raise your hand and ask me. Anyone? I didn't get any. Okay, fine. Okay. Okay, now how to choose a tech stack. First thing is when you go for a project. Never ever take the tech stack as the first thing. Many used to say, okay, I want to do something on machine learning, I want to do something on some other things. Never go for that. Okay, so first come up with a problem statement, first come up with an idea, then go ahead with the tech stack, choosing the tech stack. Never ever go with starting from the technical technical things. Don't ever choose them at all. Okay. So finding like choosing a tech stack is one of the uh, hardest thing when it comes to product development, and to choose a tech stack, you should. The only thing that will help you is exploring. Explore a lot. When you go ahead and search something, tech stack. If, for example, I want to do something to automate, uh, for example, what to say? Um, okay, I want to, create an application, Okay, I want to create an application to uh, for my attendance, for my college attendance, so that they can students as well as the teachers can track my attendance in every day. So what I can use, what I can do over here is, first thing is we need to understand what kind of platform the people, like we people used to use in our college. The first thing is um, mobile app. Mobile, we'll be using mobile, and not every time we'll be using PC, right? Computer. So in that case, we are using mobile. In that case, we are developing. Yes, sure. So in that case, we are going for mobile web application as well as mobile app. But you know, um, a lot of times we won't be having mobile. In that case, we can go with the mobile like web application, whereas it can also support mobile as well as different environment. In that case, you can choose a proper tech stack like Bootstrap and uh, front end like Angular, React, and even other things which can support multiple platforms. So this is all about it, and so I just need to rush, guys, because it's taking time, I guess, even you guys. So, yeah. So, so okay, these things we wrote an idea, and we have a prototype, and we have chosen the tech stack. So what's next? So we have done everything, but we can't straight away go for implementation, right? We can't straight away go for development. First thing you should go ahead is do is design. You should design the workflow. You should design how the project works. Without knowing it, you can't do it, right? So you need a proper design of your project. Make a proper design where the things should come, and where you can keep the things. And this is where you do something like, okay, okay, I got a question. I can answer this now. So do we focus on one single project? We take so many ideas and one solve. So, yeah. So when you get, even I used to get this kind of problems where even I'll be getting a lot of problem ideas, but I won't be solving anyone because I'm not able to choose any one project, single project. Right? Yeah, that is one of the most worst thing. So here you should give what kind of things, what kind of problem, which is which is worse right now, what is happening right now, and where you can give more priority to it. So
I
when you find this out, you can give some priority to some projects where uh, which which could easily fix the problem which we are facing, which the organization is facing. So you can go ahead and just work on it. And one more thing is, if you have some knowledge in web development or any specific technology, start with that first. Um, I would say, yeah, start with that first. Then you can go ahead and you can go for other technologies. But if you want to explore, if you want to really explore, and if you find the idea is good and it will be useful for everyone, then try new projects. Don't stick with the things which you know already. So that would be helpful for you. I hope this helps, right? So yeah, okay,
I would just like to add few thoughts in there.
okay, sure, yeah, sure.
Yeah, when it was said how to be focused upon a singular project, I would recommend you to use a tool like Trello. If I think I'll try to share my screen a little bit. So, what Trello does is Trello is basically a web-based tool that will help you organize your work in a little bit better way. What you can do is once you have a singular project, you can try to create as in the terms of a project. Maybe you can create a new board which says your project name, and then that will create a project for you. And once you create the project, you can start picking like tasks this week, today, pending, or like done. So if you have a project that you are trying to complete one particular feature, let's say to-do list, pick up HTML UI today, something like that. Or if that is pending, put upon pending. Or you can actually open that card and add your teammate to it. Maybe someone who is your teammate that you can add into it, and you can start collaborating here. This way, every day you'll have a today, and then you will keep on focused upon where you are going and what is done. So this is what I wanted to share. Anyway, back to Akash.
Yeah, that was really good. Like I tried implementing Trello a few times, but I failed. Maybe sometimes because I was not so active. In the main question, when I see there like a lot of projects coming up and I couldn't able to stick with one thing, it always there. It always there because we are not so constant within sometimes because we always get excited when we see the new things, and that was happened with me the same. But when we try to be constant on some things, that way we get to reach something called a win. It's always there. Like being consistent is always the key. So one thing I could say is when we try to jump over different projects, what we learn is kind of very broad way. We know about this thing in this project, and the new thing another one, and the new thing in some other thing, right? We know the things in a broader level, but you be in a one thing and be consistent in that particular single project, you're going to know deeper and what we call the narrow knowledge, right? Over the broad thing, over the narrow thing is so huge. So that's what even the industry expects. That was your personal development also requires, right? Staying in one thing and getting into deeper rather than jumping over and making it broader. The narrowest thing is the best. That's what I figured out in my own. So if anyone want to jump in and want to add something to it, please go ahead. Akash, please go ahead. Seems something we are already repeating the same thing again and again.
Yeah.
So yeah, please move ahead.
So yeah, I can. So let's think. Yeah, this is somewhat last thing that I want to say. So this developer 101 is mostly like to help you guys, right? So this is where the implementation going from. So for implementation, you need some knowledge, right? You need some knowledge to develop something. In this case, we are going to help you guys to develop something. So we will be conducting some workshops and some webinars in next few days, and so this is going to be like a series where you can learn a production to develop a production level application. Um, like it can be a mobile app, it can be a web application, it can be deep learning, machine learning, and AI, everything. So you'll be learning the basics and out like from idea like designing till the deployment. So you'll be learning how to create a developer professional level application, and this is where we'll be helping out through this initiative. Yeah. So how to be productive, and this was a question which we got uh, during the registration, and I think they have like already answered to this, but still, like I just want to show you guys. Watch this video which is made by uh, Teja. So this
Okay,
will help you a
okay,
lot.
we could better stop it here. So
Yeah,
possibly the thing is when we say how to be so productive, and also I see some question in Q&A, like I want to be consistent in Android Studio, but always getting distracted to web because it's being seems like challenging and a lot of things there. See, everything is challenging. Okay, not only the thing is the high and the thing is very low. See, everything is in the same thing. But when we try looking into different perspectives, we change our thoughts, we change our views into it. So when we look into different things, we get distracted. But when we be on something specifically, when we be on it totally, we get the thing the most. That's it. So nothing to worry about distraction, but you can always explore. So, but exploring is different from what we call the isolation. But be on it, the particular thing that you're working on, you are free to explore different things, but make sure you should come back and try to connect them as well. So that's why it goes in. And if you have any question, we are almost end of the session. So you can always raise your hands up or just put anything in it or put your chat box or Q&As, anything. We'll be sharing the PPTs, recordings, and all the reference links, everyone's slides and deck, everything. And also a few Q&As, I'm having the screenshots of all the Q&As. I'll be sharing it in the email as well. So make sure to raise your questions here.
yeah. So I can continue, right? So yeah, is that it? No, not at all. So you develop a project, and when you like when you share this to your college, when you just share this to your staffs and to your friends, there's no point only. Like you just get some marks, and that is where things are getting over. Right? So, but where you can showcase your like things. For that, you can. I'll show you where you can go for this. Just a minute. Okay. Can you be able to see my screen now? Okay. So first thing you can search is Imagine Craft. So Imagine Craft is a Microsoft event which is similar to Hackathon, but you are developing something. We are coming up with an idea. Sorry, you are coming up with an idea to solve a problem in the society for the society. So when you solve it, like when like if you apply for these programs, it will be very much useful for you, and as well as you can showcase your idea to everyone. And one more project is, one more website is, you can go ahead and like apply for some hackathons and the last time we just had something like DSC solution challenge. You can go ahead and you can even solve some problems, and you can submit it here as well. And uh, this is right now going on, and you can apply for this. The last one is I just want to mention is open source. Open source is where you are contributing with to a real-time projects, and you're solving some organization problems by helping them to improve their products, right? So this is where you can even showcase your knowledge, uh, like, to the organization, and where you can find this kind of there are some open source competitions which is going on. The one thing I can say is GSOC. GSOC is a program, open source program, which is happening like all year. Now the applications are over, and now the things are over, but you can apply for it next year. But the thing is, the intention is here you are contributing to um, top organizations around the world, where you can showcase your knowledge by contributing to these things. And yeah, if you're a second year student, you can go ahead and register for this next year, not now. And even there are other things like the girls get some of code. These are the things which will help you a lot in improving yourself. So don't just keep like to be productive, just explore these things and contribute to these things. So that is where which will make you more consistent, and if you want to be productive, stick with open source and contribute to some open source organization every day, or stick with one open source organization and contribute to their projects. Uh, that is where you can get even more productive, and like you can be consistent with the project. So, yeah, hope this helps, and let's just go with that.
Thank you so much, Akash.
Yeah, I think we have ended. Like this day.
Perfect.
Yeah, Teja, you can do it.
Yeah, please. Okay. So that's all for today. And thank you so much, Shayav, Saurav, and Akash for amazing things. A lot of resources, a lot of shares, decks, and all of the things we'll be sharing with you all, not to forget. And also, we'll be rolling out the feedback form as well. And don't forget, keep things up. And also, the developer 101 is not this one day thing, it's going to be the entire quarantine. And we'll be sharing the things all the way up. And don't forget to register and keep coming up if you are interested, because we come up with different things. This time we came up with something like this final year projects, because we've been hearing a lot, like people are being anxious about it, like what to choose, where to start, and all the stuff. So why don't we have a quick things on it, people who are already into it. So Shaif and Saurav were already been to it, and Akash is the one who usually continuously do such projects for most of the times. So this was a kickstart. In the same way, if you are the one feeling to share something to the community, then you're always open. So there will be something called Tech Nuggets. So Tech Nuggets is an initiative by Coding Club, DSC or everything. So we usually take these Tech Nuggets to everyone. We are open to everyone now, even you. So you can fill the form up if you are interested to host one meetup like this, or a webinar or anything like that. So you can host it with a specific topic, maybe technical, maybe not technical, maybe just like anything. So you're always open. So the whole intention is when you take something, you're going to give it back as well. So when you take something, you're going to contribute it to it. So you always have a chance to do that and keep coming up. So any questions? So I just checked out, there are like almost 12 questions answered by Shaif, and thank you so much, Shaif. And I'll be sharing these all questions and answers in the email as well. So not to worry, if you still have any questions, don't feel free to reach out dsc.sathyabama@gmail.com. And the Instagram is super active and all. So that's it for this. And Shaif, Saurav, and Akash, if you have anything to give a word at the end, please go ahead.
Yeah. So I can see we just have few members have joined. We got around 150 plus registrations, but we just saw few people have joined today. But still, guys, more things are going to be coming up. Like tell your friends, ask your friends to join our future workshops. Since this is this developer 101 is going to be like a series, so this this is something where we'll be having the workshop in every week, so on every topic. So ask your friends, make use of these opportunities, and even you could join in every workshops, and don't miss it. Be active, and this is what we need, and 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 we will make sure, we will try to make sure that you develop something at the end of the day, right, on your own. That is what the goal of this developer 101. So even ask your friends to join us, so that even they won't miss any of the opportunities where they can learn. So yeah, if you have any doubts, you can go ahead and ask us now. If you have any questions or want to say anything, you can also unmute if you want. You can raise and you can unmute. Okay, Otis, if you want to say anything.
I just want to say very good night to everyone.
Okay. So, so guys, did you all add your dinner? Sorry guys, it's too late I guess to ask.
Yeah, probably
Yeah,
it is very late.
yes, it is
I thought it would be
night.
like a 1 hour session and it went up like 1 hour, like 50 minutes or 2 hours probably. Yeah, almost. So
I can hear a girl crying.
yeah. You can also hear some LKG
And
Rams playing as well.
Saurav,
Yes.
there was a question that how to be good in coding. We are facing that questions from everyone because we are doing this placement test which we are having right now from the placement
Hmm.
cell.
Yes.
So we have the question how to be good in competitive programming. So what is your like,
Okay,
uh,
so like if you really want to be a good in competitive programming is like you just have to pick a language of your choice, be it C, C++, Java, Python, JavaScript, any language. Though JavaScript is not acceptable in placement cell, but still, like be it any language, then master your data structures first. Uh, Start with arrays, queues, math problem, and 1 second. I will open my mail where I got. Like I guess I have shared with you guys when I was being interviewed with Google. So I have shared you those documents, right?
yes,
Uh, yeah, you can forward it to the group as well. Yeah. So like yeah, you first have to master your data structures, and then go ahead with algorithms. uh, Start practicing on HackerRank, and move on to CodeChef. Like though you don't have a lot of time right now, so I would suggest you to start practicing directly on CodeChef, not to waste time on HackerRank, because HackerRank is okay, but it is not. I wouldn't suggest it is really good for interview specific questions. Start practicing on CodeChef or Codeforces. Codeforces really have good and new questions. They don't have repetitive questions comparatively, and you will also have editorials. And like for but problem here is that most of the people directly, if they don't understand the problem, they directly peek into the solution. That is the as wrong approach, right? Instead of that, you can use editorials or go into discuss a discussion forum and see what were the approaches other people were using, what you lacked, and why couldn't you do it in this many second or this many, like in limited number of time. So time is really important when you go on to the programming. Okay. And apart from this, if you are really interested in cracking good companies questions, I would suggest you to practice trees, graph, and linked list thoroughly. Almost in every company which I was interviewed, graph was the question. Graph never left hand following me. In fact, even I was asked in Google, PayPal, even Cognizant asked me graph. So this is really important. Apart from this, dynamic programming is one of the most important topic which you will be facing on your interviews. This you have to practice all these things, and yeah, keep practicing. That's the key if you really want to crack any interview. Also, there's a site called Lead Code where you can practice company specific questions. That is a really good website. Okay, so I'll give you a simple hint, like how can uh, ace this interview thing, or how can you quickly get mastered of, instead of wasting your time practicing a lot of questions from randomly. Do it topic by topic. Start with array, pick some classical questions. You can get classical questions anywhere. There are bunch of thousands and lakhs of questions which are thrown on the internet, right? You can get it from Geeks for Geeks. You can get it from Lead Code. These are the two specific websites where you can get company specific questions. Even VS Code has an extension for Lead Code. You can download it, download an extension on VS Code and practice lead code questions, and that too free. You can get it, all the lead code premium questions. So this is a hack which I found when I was practicing for company specific questions. So yeah, uh, you can you can do this. Start solving company topic by topic. Start with arrays, solve 20, 30, 40, 50 questions. When you feel comfortable, move on with different topics, tag queues. Then move on with maths questions. In the topic with maths, when it comes with maths, why I'm specifically focusing on maths, because people, most of the students actually ignore maths. Maths, when it comes to data structures and algorithm, it is fundamental, because you can't think of a logic when you don't have a problem solving or mathematical skills. So that is where most people lagged. Even I lagged when I was solving a really tough questions or new questions when I was facing the problem. So start solving your PNC, revise your PNC, revise algebra. These are few topics which you should revise. Probability, like all your discrete maths which you would have in your second or third semester. Revise your discrete math. That would really help you if you are actually aiming for good companies, be it Amazon or Microsoft or Google. So, the, like, maths is important. Follow topic by topic approach. Solve 50, 60 questions from each topic. Master DP. Uh, Learn graphs questions. Then you are good to go with any company, man. If you practice all these questions, that is enough. And also read book. Any algorithm books is recommended. Corman is very good. You can also read grokking algorithms. Any algorithm book would do if you read it. So yeah, that's it. Like, these all things would do.
Perfect. Okay. I was just noting down all the notebook names and all. Okay. So, as I said earlier, I'm repeating again, I'll be sharing these all, not to worry about it. And we're gonna end it. So anything you want to share, you're always open. Yeah. We have been through a lot. Really a lot, like different topics distributedly. So
Perfect. If you guys have any problem, any issues, you can reach out to me.
yeah. It's not only for the final year project, but you can open up anything now.
Yeah, anything now, later, if you feel shy, you don't want to like reveal your name or anything, you can reach out to us anywhere. We are available on all the platforms.
Yeah, I think we can just.
Okay then. Yeah, perfect. Maybe have a safe and healthy time during the entire quarantine, and good night. Thank you so much for joining in. Thank you so much for all the panelists, everyone, and thank you so much for answering all the questions. So keep in touch with us, and we'll soon come up back with another initiatives. Okay, perfect.
Good night, guys.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Good night.